Hello everyone, welcome to the Escape Pod. I'm Sal.
I'm Josiah.
I'm Nathan.
And this is our stand.
Book
Book 3.
I abandon this stand. I give up.
I'm sitting down right now, actually.
Yeah,
I'm comfortably sitting down.
That should have been how we did it. We should record all these podcasts while standing up.
I would just die. This is our review of the third stand book, guys, and
We did it.
wow.
How long did this take us to read?
Months.
This literally took months.
Yeah, I think
This took
And
months.
I want to say we started early October?
Yeah.
Maybe halfway through
Yeah.
October?
Yeah, we started halfway through October. And, look, I don't blame anybody here for not finishing this right quick, because, wow, book 2.
I postponed our reading of the book 3 as long as I could, honestly.
Yeah, I remember that. You're like, hey, can you give me some extra time? I want to read Xenos. And I was like, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, I started reading that again today, and oh wow, it's so much better. So the stand book 3...
Just give your general thoughts, and we'll go chapter by chapter. There's not that many.
My general thoughts about it is that I really enjoyed the first 100 pages where it's just about the bad guys.
Yeah.
Because I find moral complexity interesting, and people who... They make it a point to show that, yeah, they work for Randall Flagg, but, they're not actually bad people, most of them. There's a little kid there, there's, people who are nice, and, you can even argue that, Lloyd, to a degree, is a good person.
I mean, because I was proven wrong. So Nathan basically said, no, he's supposed to be, a stupid character. I'm like, no, I didn't interpret it like that. And now I realize, no, they're literally saying Randall Flagg made him smarter.
Yeah.
And I was, giving you the benefit of the doubt, but you did that plot point, so...
What
Yeah.
did I say?
So I at first I was grooving with it, despite also spoilers, of course. Despite Harold Lauder dying unceremoniously, I was grooving with it, for the most part. And then it gets to the ending, and then I'm like, this whole book is not worth it.
No, not at all.
Fuck
it's not
no.
worth it for the ending.
It literally they get to the 1000th, 100th, and whatever page, and Stephen King basically says, "All that was for nothing. Fuck you."
Yeah, he basically goes in the end, humans can't really change anything. It's all about God and the devil, and we're just chess pieces. And it's like that. I know this was a depressing story, but I wanted to feel 1,000 pages of my goddamn time wasn't wasted.
Yeah.
The end of the book is basically all those good people, they just had to sacrifice themselves because otherwise God won't interfere. And it's but they could have just done nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing in this mattered. The whole, the breakneck pace of the first book, setting up, all the players, and you're like, oh shit, I can't wait to see how Boulder and Las Vegas interacts. They barely do. Barely.
They don't interact.
There's no great war. It's just kind of a few people go and make a stand, and then it all just blows up.
And then some unrelated third-party person comes in and blows everything up.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah.
At the very least, Trash Can Man was set up where him bringing the nuke back is okay.
This makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
But then how they trigger it is so bullshit that it's I don't care if Trash Can Man had all this build-up for this ending. I can't go with this.
Yeah, it wasn't worth it.
It explodes because God says so.
Yeah, because the story has to end. I didn't know how to end it, so good triumphs, kind of.
It's a really good thing that Randall Flagg decided to use that specific method of torture and
rather than
literally any of the others that we've seen.
Yeah.
He decides to summon fire and then just loses fucking control of it. I guess.
We're gonna get there. I don't want to talk too much about it yet.
So that's how I feel. I feel like it was it felt up until the last moment I was this has to be for something, and then it just wasn't.
Yeah, see, I've known the ending of this book for literal years, and I was like, when I read it, I might feel differently. I'm probably gonna just go with this. And then I got to the ending, and I'm like, no, my initial impression of reading that summary was entirely correct. This is not how you end a story. This is really... if this was, a 300-page book, go ahead. Whatever. But this is, an 1,100-page book. There's so many things built up. It's a
literal epic.
It's a literal... imagine if the end of Lord of the Rings was just, so we're in the two towers.
Gollum just brings out a nuke.
Well, no, we're in the two towers, and then they get taken to Shelob's lair, and then just Shelob decides for no reason to take the ring to Mordor herself and drop it in the fiery chasm, and then just good guys win. And it's that's not good storytelling. You can say you set up that Shelob wasn't loyal to Sauron or some shit like that. This does not. equal a story.
I agree. No.
This does not equal a story.
It doesn't.
Is a great way to say. So let's go chapter by chapter. Let's really pick this apart.
We start with chapter
bit by fucking bit.
61.
What happens in this chapter?
Chapter 61.
I read this last week and I already forgot.
It's okay. So what happens is that it's kind of following the judge, and all these guys are set up to catch him, and then the judge like encounters some guys, and they kill him, and then Randall Flagg's mad, and he just teleports there and eats the guy, and that chapter's over.
Yeah. So here's so like Stephen King really loved the idea of sending the spies over. And it was great conflict for all the characters. The spies don't do shit.
No,
Tom Cullen does.
The spies don't do shit. They don't spy. None of them get back with information. We don't even... Okay, so like when Tom gets back, the one spy that makes it back, no one questions him about what was happening over there.
No.
We don't see any of that. So literally the only reason why Tom was sent over there was so that he could come back and save Stu.
Yes.
Because God says so. That's why I really hate this book, is because like any problems I have, they can be written off as, oh, God said so. Oh,
and he's a prick.
Oh, because God said so. Oh, the Force told him to do it. Like,
yeah.
Also, I love, so this is the first time, but it won't be the last. Actually, no, yeah, this is the first time in this chapter where we have a character who sees an animal that they're pretty sure is Randall Flagg.
Yeah.
And they're like, fuck you, I'm going to shoot you. And then they aren't able to do it, but they do catch Randall Flagg by surprise.
Yeah.
So,
if he had just fired, he would have killed him. And it's like, why would you tell me that?
Shit, I left the safety on. Oh, and now it's gone.
God decided it wasn't time for him to die.
so the judge doesn't even fucking get there.
No.
Yeah.
So the judge just basically just dies because reasons, I guess. And it feels like in this section of the book, Stephen King is like, oh, fuck. Oh, this all has... it feels like the end of that one season of Game of Thrones where they just blow up half the main cast of King's Landing because they're like... They're like, no, we can't have all these people here. This is too complicated. Just kill them. Just blow it up. Kill them. Out. Get out. Yeah. This feels like...
I will say this. Like, when the judge died initially, I was like, you know what? I understand. You had to make it seem like there was actual like danger and stakes for the other spies. Sure. So you just kill one of the spies and he didn't make it through. The second one's probably going to make it there and not accomplish much. Then the third one will get there and actually bring back something valuable. That's ostensibly what happens, but it's handled like so poorly that it's like, you know, why didn't we just send Tom Cullen because the other ones couldn't have their memories reprogrammed? Like, why didn't we just send him? Like, all of this would have been averted if we just sent one person.
And also the problem with saying the spies is that, like, when you structure the novel, you have to when you think about it and restructure and actually take time, you're like, well, so you have this whole big thing with the spies, and then they get sent out, and then, like, 2 days later, 4 main characters set out for the same exact city. And it's like, then why bother with the spies? You're just gonna go there.
Yeah, you literally could cut out the spies and just have them decide to head out, and you could have said, well, Tom Cullen just decided to head out and found Stu there instead of him going on.
Because Nick told him he had to.
Yeah, no, because that's it. Like, you don't need this whole section of the book because of the because, like, okay, we're just going to go chapter by chapter. I won't talk about Dana yet, but 62.
I'm already riling him up.
Dana is naked in a bed, and she's fucking Lloyd,
I guess.
And she's working a crew in Vegas, and... So this is a part of that bit where it's like, oh, you know, they're really not bad people. They're kind of just normal people who are, you know, scared of Boulder because...
Yeah, because, like, that's what they're being propagated to believe.
Yeah.
Like, Dana like, has the one friend who has the kid, and, like, it's like, oh, well, people and even back when, like, Trash Can Man first showed up and have, like, the little, like, lunch with Ace High and all of them, I'm like, these are nice people.
Yeah.
And even Trash Man's like, man, it's the first time I feel accepted in my entire life.
Well, and it makes it worse because of, at the end, when everyone dies, it's like, you know, like, fuck you. Like, fuck you, God, for just killing people who didn't know any better.
Like, if
no, but they chose evil. They didn't know it was evil. No. He deceived them.
No, because what if, like, I was in Las Vegas, the plague happened, I'm like, oh, fuck, well, I'll just stay in town because I know there's food here, and then it's the desert, so why would I leave? And some guy shows up who's, like, really charismatic. He's leading all these people, and they're like, well, I mean, I'm already here, like, and yeah, I'm dreaming about this old lady in over there in Colorado, but, like, it's the fucking desert, and, like...
Yeah. Like, I could
And,
never
like-
make it there alone.
Like, I'm a bartender. I don't know anything about fucking surviving in the desert.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know shit. I mean, this guy is, like, setting up stuff. Like, he's gonna get the power back on. Like, yeah,
Like-
you know what? Like, yeah, like, but,
Like, ostensibly, Flag's whole operation is like, yeah, I punished someone for doing drugs. So it's like he's creating a very, like, moral community, and it's like...
and
So,
if I was there, I'd go, you know, that's kind of harsh, but, like, he is getting the power back on, and, like, no
Yeah.
one should be concerning themselves with getting high on cocaine, so...
No, but Tom says everyone's scared and it's a bad place.
yeah,
They
well, you know what?
it's not good to be scared, so they should.
People being scared is what drove them to Mother Abigail, too.
No.
So it's still out of fear of dying.
But then they stop being scared.
Okay,
Once they
you
got
can
to.
say that. You know, it's, Stephen King would agree with you, I'm sure.
Hey, it's just never been a devil's advocate.
So then
Flag's advocate.
Flag's advocate.
No, but so you think about Harold Lauder and Nadine in the free zone, and you're like, well, these are people who are Flag's people technically,
Yeah.
but they're in the wrong zone. How many people were supposed to be zoners are over there in
Yeah.
Las Vegas that
Yeah.
are now dead because they didn't have the fucking resources to leave like Nazi
Yeah.
Las Vegas
Yeah.
and try the desert.
Then they should have just died believing in God. That should have been what they did.
That's why, because you know, I'm the atheist here. I'm the token atheist, even though
Right.
I love Jesus and Bible Man.
yeah, well, yeah.
Obviously, you guys help me
Tracks.
with that.
Yeah,
It tracks.
But like saying just I guess like it's also my problem is with like these stories where it's like all about religions where I'm like I try to like think about logic and a story's like fuck you.
But it's not all like you can do this story
You can.
easily and still have the spiritual themes and not
Stephen
have
King
it be
rewrote
so.
the whole book like 20 years later and then chose not to fix it.
Well, no, because that ending's perfect. Everyone
it's
loves
not.
that ending.
No, they don't. I don't.
Well,
See,
Listen, I defy you.
See, the thing is, if you're going to have a book, a narrative that is influenced by religion and the principle of faith, I think the payoff, your faith was rewarded, I still need to see action. Like, if the ending had been, like, Larry trying to kill Flag, and, like, that, it didn't work, but his actions set off, like, a riot or something. Or,
well, that's what it was
like,
going to
That's what I thought it was going to be.
yeah, like, anything. But the fact that they were just like, but... You know, their faith was rewarded by them going there, and then he died. And it's like, but they didn't really directly influence that.
No, they just refused to give in to Flag, and that's it.
Yeah.
They could have done that safely over there in Boulder.
Like the best versions to me of faith rewarded is when your very, very last rope, when you're
Yeah.
this is my one last act, and then if this doesn't work, then whatever. And it's like, that wasn't enough, but it caused something else. That
Yeah.
caused
Well,
victory.
you want to feel. I think it boils down to you can have God in your story,
Yeah.
but the people's actions have to matter, or I can't care. And this is like why I hate the ending of
Yeah.
Battlestar Galactica, because it's like, oh, you know how you made this show about like realism and like people's actions affecting things? Yeah, but God was just planning it the whole time, so nothing they did mattered. No, it was always going to turn out this way. Then rewatch value, I'm always thinking, well, you know, God would have made sure that happened. And it's like, well, okay.
Unless God is a character, and then it can
Sure.
be good because then you're seeing his conflict, or like the gods, like Brandon Sanderson does gods beautifully.
Yeah,
you
all
know
the time.
this.
Oh, yeah.
So whenever he introduces gods, it's like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I get it. Like this makes sense. Whereas with this, it's like, oh, just God, or
yeah.
oh, just the devil, and I'm like,
Yeah.
but why though? Oh, just because.
Yeah, I think Stephen King has a very simplistic grasp on the idea of Christianity.
I mean, it's because he came to it through Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah.
So his perception is God just helps us through tough times, and that's his only perception. He didn't. Other than that, I feel like he's like, well, I hate religion, I just like faith. And since he's a bad writer, he's like, well, as long as they have faith, it's all good.
No, he writes well. His
Sure.
what he writes is very well written.
Yeah,
it feels
no,
very
sometimes.
nice and awesome. It's just the content.
But then Dana gets taken before Randall Flagg because he just knows.
Yeah,
And that's another thing I hate. Is like, oh, he just knows.
But he only knows when it's convenient.
no, he knows the judge. He
only knows if you're not mentally
Tom because
he only knows if you're not mentally retarded.
Which is, okay.
Retarded.
That's, all right, you're getting on a whole can of worms there, Stephen King. But they have this bit where she has her, like, switchblade, and at first this scene's going good.
Her like Assassin's Creed blade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it should have been Nick, but whatever.
Whatever.
And then she turns it into a banana.
Who's Nick?
He died in the
Is
last
he a
book.
character?
No.
hey, Tom sees him.
Tom sees him and he talks to him.
That's nice.
It's the Rise of Skywalker.
I don't understand that reference,
Yeah, then
and for good reason.
he turns it into a banana.
It's fine.
And then he laughs, and I'm kind of laughing too, because it's like really silly. And then he tries to grab her, and she just cuts her neck on the broken window.
So,
and he's like, oh shit, I can't do anything
When I
now.
first read it, she like jumped towards the window. Flag was like, what? I didn't foresee this, even though Because Flagg just can't foresee things because I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's arbitrary.
And I'm like, is that God or is that just poor writing or is it both?
It's both.
Okay, it's both. And so when she first thunked her head, I thought she just like cracked the glass.
Yeah, I didn't think she broke through.
And apparently she broke through.
Yeah.
And then like whips her neck and stabs herself. And I'm like.
And then he's like, oh, I can't get anything out of you now. Shucks.
And like the illustration shows her like dangling half out and like
and then I'm even more confused. I'm like, is the illustration canon? Is that what's actually happening, or is it just like a?
I really don't know.
It hindered more than helped for once.
And then the next chapter, we get a little kid playing in the park, and this is a 3-page chapter, and the only purpose is going, Tom Cullen's in Vegas. Oh no, but Julie is from way back in book 2's beginning.
Remember fucking Julie?
And I was like, I'm glad that at least she came back.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it's like, I'm gonna tell them that Tom is a spy. And it's like, you don't know that. You didn't see him enter Boulder and be sworn in. Maybe he was coming here the whole time. But I guess you're just bitter enough to try to fuck him over?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, she just... It would be different if, like, Julie met Tom in the free zone.
Yes.
And then she was like, ugh, I fucking hate these people. And then goes to Vegas. But no.
Yeah. She just immediately assumes that he's still with Nick. And Nick must be around.
I don't know why.
And they must be working for the good guys.
Yeah.
And not, like, their own faction or, like, here for them.
Because it's funny, because she doesn't think...
No, she thinks that he's with Nick, and then Nick's the spy.
Yeah, exactly. She doesn't think that Tom is the spy. Which, that's logical, I suppose, but...
And then we get the Harold Laudner slowly bleeding to death chapter, which is basically like... When Stephen King had to explain why Harold Laudner is in this position, and why, I forgot her name. Nadine, yeah, why she got away. It is like a fucking comedy sketch.
It's so...
Like, oh, they came around a corner, and then Harold's bike hit an oil spill. Flagg probably did that for some reason. He fell down a hill and hit a tree, and then he tried to shoot Nadine, but oh man, he just, like, missed because she moved her head slightly. And then,
because his elbow perfectly just dipped a little bit, and then sweat got into his eyeball.
And he missed, and Flagg was like, oh shit, my plans were almost undone. That stupid bit.
And it's like, wait a minute, so, like, God and the devil are in this story. His arm falling a bit and sweat getting in his eye. Is that God? Is that the devil? Or did that just happen?
In this case, I would say it just happened. The problem is they make such a big deal over, if he was so close to hitting her, but something kept it from hitting her, and it's like...
Flagg didn't see it coming.
But then it doesn't matter anyway.
No, it doesn't. But he kills himself because he's slowly dying, and he finishes up his journal. He's like, what is his moral thing at the end? He's like, I probably shouldn't have done all this. I feel a little bad, but...
He's like, I'm not saying this as an excuse for my actions, but I was tricked.
Yeah.
Like, what I did was still wrong, but I stand by it. And I'm like...
Yeah. And then it's like, well, Flagg must have killed him because he was too smart. You literally brought all the scientists over. Why didn't you bring him over?
No.
But he's a threat.
To be fair, he was like, oh, you're a turncloak, so I can't trust you.
That's bullshit. So many people are turncloaks who are on his side.
I agree, but...
it's like, well, okay.
So many people.
Well, not from... There's not a whole lot of people from the free zone to...
No,
there are.
But they also didn't bomb the... higher ups in the free zone.
But Harold never like swore his loyalty to Mother Abigail in the free zone.
No.
He just came there and they're like, "Hey, here's a house," and he's like, "All right, okay, all right." But the whole time he was planning to fuck them over. So was he ever actually on their side?
No, he wasn't.
There was never a moment where he was actually on their side. So if anything, Harold's not a turncloak at all.
He's the opposite.
He's a loyalist.
Yeah, and it's just like, well, I wrote it this way because I knew that if Harold came to Las Vegas, then he would actually, like, affect the plot. So I just killed him.
Because if Harold got to Las Vegas, swore loyalty to Flagg, it'd be a cool, like, he was rival to Lloyd because they'd both be, like, the right-hand men.
Yeah.
And, like, Harold would actually, like, do good things.
It's so funny because...
He'd probably make sure that if Harold lived...
Probably none of this would have happened.
None of this would have happened.
It's funny to think that Stephen King... made a character that has so much intelligence and agency that he just doesn't know what to do with them.
Yeah, he literally is like, well, I'll just have, like, your bike flip and you die.
He becomes, like, all of a sudden he's, like, season 7 Tyrion, who just doesn't know what to do, and he just is a fuck-up now.
Well, can I just say, the years and years of people saying, Randall Flagg is one of the greatest villains in literary history. Like, he's one of Stephen King's best villains. And The Stand is the best story he's been in. And I'm like, oh, shit, like... And then the first 2 books of this, I'm like, oh man, Flag's so great. And then the last bit, he's like, he doesn't really know what he's doing. He's kind of just like playing the part. He's just a guy. And it's like, way to like just sabotage all the buildup.
And suddenly he just starts losing because he has to lose because the book's almost over.
It's not like a slow degeneration over all of book 2, because then we'd actually have to have scenes in Las Vegas.
Listen.
It's like if Return of the Jedi was The Last Jedi. And Randall, and that's basically Luke's arc in like miniature, where it's like, well, 2/3 of this is really good. The last third is really shitty and terrible on a character.
So, guys, I think I understand though. I think I get it.
Okay.
So Randall Flagg's power level is based on how many pages are left.
Oh, that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Doesn't that make sense?
Because he gets less control the farther in the book he goes.
Yeah.
Okay, I can buy that.
No, that makes perfect sense.
And then we get a scene, we get a chapter, 65, where Randall Flagg's in the desert, and then Nadine finally gets to him. Just shows up.
And, like, she's just fucked up.
It's so funny.
And I'm like,
oh, God, this chapter, dude.
I'm not Randall Flagg. I'm not a person like him. But if I was, like, some, like, evil fucking guy who, like, has manipulated this woman from, like, childhood,
yeah.
To, like, become my bride and to maintain her virginity and to maintain her whatever, I would not, like, if she was supposed to be like my, like, my woman.
It's the key to his whole plan.
It's the key to my whole plan to take over the motherfucking world. I would not, like, let her, like, wander the desert, almost get, like, a heat stroke, become fucking destroyed, and then, like, fuck her brains out so hard that she becomes, like, docile and, like...
Literally, her mind breaks.
And, like, mentally, like, yeah.
She becomes almost retarded.
Yeah, she's, like, mentally deficient.
She's like, I'm just casually jerking his cock off, and he's like, yeah, this is nice, I guess. Like, this chapter just talking about Flagg's cold semen and his, like, cock that she was horrified but wanted so bad. And I'm like, this is really terrible. And then his cum
was periwinkle blue.
And he's transformed into, like, actual demon.
He's, like, an actual demon.
I guess.
And then he fucks her and immediately is just like, wait, what happened? What's wrong with her?
Yeah, like, Randall Flagg's fucking child, like, understanding of the world of, like, I don't really know what's going on or why I'm doing anything, but I swear I have so much agency.
It's also so funny that for this very short period of time between where Nadine parts ways with Harold, this is, like, her only section where she's purely on her own and she almost fucking dies because she's worthless.
See, the funny thing is, okay, logically, Nadine, as soon as she gets away from the big accident that kills Harold, then she immediately just gets, like, raped into mind break state. And then she's back in Vegas. And it's like, why didn't Flagg just personally go and kill Harold? And you have a scene between them, and then he just fucks her there.
Because, like, if Flagg went up to Harold and was like, hey, I'm going to betray you now, and they had a scene, I would have much preferred that to just, like, oh, I guess there was a random oil slick and they slipped and they fell.
He's the devil. He works subtly. I guess.
Like, why did they do the scene this way where it's not like anything happens in her journey to meet him? It's not like she needs to be, like, cognizant for that trip. She could have just, it could have happened there and then just they go to Las Vegas.
I would have loved, I was in the whole motherfucking book for a scene between Harold and Flagg.
Yes, that's what I thought I was gonna get.
Yeah,
I thought that's what it was building up to. Like, Harold's like, yeah, like, I've done so many bad things, and he meets Flagg, he's like, oh no, like, I have no conception of this evil. And it's like, yeah, then we can...
But I'm so fucking smart.
Yeah, but he's like, because Harold becomes the most sympathetic character in book 2.
No, he's my favorite character of the whole book, honestly.
And then in book 3, when he dies because of tragic mishap, he's like, I'm like, wow, I really wanted him to succeed. If you were trying to make him, like, me to pity him, didn't work. No. I'm on his side. I wanted him to win.
I was 100% with Harold the whole way.
And he's supposed to be, like, this pervert, like, repressed, angry, like, school shooter. And it's like, yeah, but he's just the only one who does anything. Like, everyone else is like...
Whenever he's like, Nadine, honey, shut the fuck up.
Like, Harold,
so good.
Harold Laudner never just says, well, God or the devil will do something about it. He's like, no, I'm going to take agency and do something about
even
it.
Like, was it Glenn who's the one who's like, well, even though I'm all bookie, it's all God. No, but Harold's the one character, you're right, who's just like...
He never, like, compromises his own, like, Ubermensch, like, identity of, no, I'm going to take what I want. He never, like, is, like, humbled because it's all like, yeah, you had to, like, literally do, like, a fucking freak accident to stop Harold. You couldn't even actually stop him.
No.
And it's like, okay. And then...
I have a question, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's a logistical thing. So, we got these 100 or so pages with just the bad guys, which is, pretty cool. But then we get, like, I think the next couple hundred or even 70 or so is the four guys slowly
the chosen four, yeah.
The chosen four slowly walking to Las Vegas. And really early on they see Harold's body. And then it's still like 70 pages till they get to LA.
Yeah.
LA, well, Vegas, whatever.
Vegas, yeah.
Are you telling me that Nadine did what they did?
Yeah.
In like a fraction of the time?
Well, she had a motorcycle. They are walking.
No, they crashed a motorcycle.
Well, hers lasts for a little bit longer.
Yeah, it lasts for a bit longer.
Oh, okay.
So she does use it till it dies. It runs out of gas. Or
I forgot about that. Yeah.
No, they do say that.
It breaks down like in the middle.
Oh yeah, and she like falls off it or something.
Yeah.
And then she gets raped. Whatever. All right, fine.
Yeah,
so hysterical.
So Lloyd's life fucking sucks. In chapter 66, because he gets the news from the guy at the Air Force Base of how Trash Can Man has fucked their supplies.
He just burned everything down. All our jets are destroyed. What?
What the fuck?
Yeah, no, like Trash Can Man all of a sudden becomes like Flag's like biggest enemy.
Yes.
Out of fucking left field.
I mean, because they don't even show the chapter where it shows his mental like turn when he decides to like give into his urges. It's like, no, we're gonna reveal that later.
Yeah.
So the whole time you're like, oh shit, Trash Can Man is literally destroying the entire Las Vegas Defense Force by himself, and you're like, why is this happening? Like, I don't understand.
And like they talk about how like people were making fun of him, like they did back when he was a kid, and it's like. So that just means that he's just gonna destroy everything now?
Well, he's mentally unstable.
He can't distinguish between malevolent teasing and just light jabbing.
Yeah.
Like he just can't.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Lloyd gets that news and he's like, ah, fuck, I'm glad Flag's not here because I'll have to tell him. And then Julie is like, hey. And he's like, oh god, she's this sex-crazy little deviant. Fuck me.
And god, I love the fucker, but she's so annoying. But the secretary, if her mind was in her body... Oh man, because the secretary wants to fuck Lloyd.
That's right. He's like, if I could just take your mind, and
it's so fun.
That's
very
funny.
Lloyd skis.
Tom gets out of Vegas.
Oh, because Julie tells him about Tom and Nick.
Yeah,
and then Lloyd's like, all right, I guess so. Whatever, go the fuck away, bitch. She's like, I'm trying to help you, and you're like, all right, calm the fuck down.
It's so funny. That's like such a perfect. That's a perfect moment of what would it be like if these two characters met? Like, I never pictured them doing that, but it's exactly how it would have gone.
Exactly.
Yeah, for real. It's pretty funny.
And Tom passes Flag in the desert after he fucked Nadine, and it's like Flag kind of sensed something, but good thing he isn't aware because he's kind of tired. He just woke up from fucking, so he wasn't quite aware that Tom was out there. It's like, well, that's convenient because he's retarded.
And
that's why.
We kind of find out that the reason, like, that Flag's, I mean, other than him killing Harold, which is a terrible idea, was that he didn't trust Lloyd enough.
Yeah.
And I kind of love this because it's like if this was like Flag's one flaw, if it's like one small human flaw of like not trusting one guy who like owes his life to you that you know that you could trust. If this was like his only flaw,
he can't trust anyone because
that would have been like enough for me to kind of go, oh, Flag made like one mistake.
Like they kind of do that. Like the buildup is kind of there where you get the scene where he has to test Lloyd again because he still doesn't trust him. Like, you have to shoot this guy. And then he does. And it's like, oh, well, Lloyd's completely loyal to you. And then Flag's still just like...
Because it's great because when Flag gets the news later on, he's like, I'm really fucking pissed off that he didn't think to grab him. But at the same time, why didn't I tell Lloyd about Nick in my list?
And he's like, sounded like a good idea at the time.
Like,
but basically, like this other guy that runs like the fucking Nazi SS.
Yeah.
Knows about the red list, assumes Lloyd knows about it. Lloyd doesn't, and the red list is just the committee members.
Yeah,
the next chapter, man. This chapter is when I knew it wasn't gonna get better.
I just find it interesting that Flag's downfall is essentially him not trusting Lloyd.
I wish that was more central because I feel like Lloyd and Trash Can Man are like should be like the same character.
Yeah, in a way.
Yeah.
Like their arcs are basically the same.
Yeah.
Just one is more mentally together than the other, and they're both technically the cause of Flag's downfall.
Yeah.
Just that Trash Can's the physical reason why, whereas Lloyd's like the ideological reason why.
Yeah.
But I really feel like you could combine these characters in some way or form, like because he doesn't trust Lloyd tries to like one up Flag, and then Flag like, oh, I really should have trusted you. And he's like, yeah. Now you die. You know? And then we get this bit where...
What's the next chapter? I forgot.
67, Flag gets back to Vegas. And Lloyd's like, hey, Barry, I need you to go find the spies. I need you to go find Tom. And we need to do that. And then Flag doesn't react too well to this. And he's like, I want Trash Can Man fucking killed on sight. And they're like, yeah, that's fair. All right, that's great.
But quickly, because he shouldn't suffer.
Yeah.
I know he's meant to be retarded, so he shouldn't suffer.
And Tom gets visited by Nick in his dreams, and boy, did I hate this.
Yeah, I don't like Nick just now being a ghost.
Yeah, but now he believes in God. Now he understands because he died.
We did that character arc where he didn't believe in God, and then he just died, and now he does believe in God.
I wouldn't have minded like a 4-page chapter of Nick going to heaven and like meeting God and being like struck in awe.
Sure. Yeah.
And then like being able to talk for the first time.
No, we still have to keep it vague because maybe
it's not.
The book pretty much is pretty clear on the fact there's a God. There's a God in the sand.
No,
there's a devil in the sand.
No, but maybe.
Because
it's like real life. You can't really ever know, can you?
No one's ever really.
I do though, because the book pretty much very basically says.
Also, they try to send out the helicopters to find the spies and Trash Can.
No, so what's great about this whole scene is that like Lloyd shows up with his notes in hand, and like because now he knows that about the red list, he knows that Tom, Colin, and Nick are like big deals, and they're probably the spy, and he goes to tell Flag about it, and then Flag's like, no, tell me about some other stuff first.
Yeah,
and then he's like, no, but really, I will say what's important.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, you idiot.
And then when he finally does tell him, Flag's like, why didn't you tell me sooner?
That's like, such a bad joke.
Yeah.
Like, that's like the oldest joke in the book of like, no, I really need to tell you something important. Well, why didn't you just say that in the first place? Because you told me not to. I was literally obeying your orders. And it's like, well, no, I'm really powerful.
And then Flag like throws like a fucking like childish temper tantrum.
Yeah.
It's so embarrassing.
And then
that's the scene where I lost like any fear about a Flag.
Oh, yeah. No way.
Because like, yes, his powers are fading, but I'm like, nah, but like... But no, seeing him like throw like a fucking baby temper tantrum, like stomping around and hitting stuff, I'm like, Jesus.
It's so pathetic.
I have more resolve than Randall Flagg does.
Because I think that's a moment that that Lloyd feels that way too.
Yeah,
he's just like,
he's like, wow, you're kind of a pussy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he also sees Nadine and he's like,
what are you?
That's pretty fucked up.
And she's like brain dead until later on in the scene when she's not.
Yeah, like Flag tells her to shake his hand, and she has to tell her in order to get her to do it, and then she keeps her hand up, and then she just starts playing with herself.
Yeah,
it's really weird
because then Randall Flagg in his temper tantrum. Doesn't he, like, throw something out the window? Because he throws something off the balcony,
and then hopes he hits somebody down below.
And he hopes, he's like, oh, I childishly thought I would hope it hits somebody. I'm like, this is not how you want to be writing this character. But then, like, Nadine teleports behind him and, like, says, no, they're coming to stop you. And then Flag turns around, momentary surprise and fear. And I'm like, oh, God. And he's just like, no, you don't know that. She's like, yeah, they're going to come and make a stand, and you're going to lose, Flag, in the end. And he's like, no, I'm not. And she's like, yeah, you are, making fun of him. And then he's just like, you know, you're like essential to my plans. And this kid is like the key to me taking over the world. Oh, but I'm so angry. I just like shattered your collarbone and then threw you out the window. Oh, but at the last second, I telekinetically try to pull you up, but I can't because my powers have faded or something. And she just smiles as she falls because she won. She tricked me, she did. She made fun of me, and then I had an angry tantrum, and damn it, I guess good wins in the end. And it's like, this is not how you write a story.
That's basically how it was written, too.
That's
pretty verbatim.
This is not how you write a story.
Yeah, because he turns in anger, lifts up his arms up in the air, brings them down, breaks her collarbones, and then grabs her, picks her up, turns around, hunches back, leans forward, throws... And then is like, oh no, wait a second. Now he has the moment of rejection as she's falling, and then like this is all happening in like
slow-mo.
2 seconds.
Yeah.
Where he throws her, oh wait, tries to catch her, can't, and then in that moment she's able to turn perfectly and smile.
Yeah.
Just before, and it's still happening at night, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like fucking like 1 a.m. So like it's like pitch fucking dark out. This all happens, and it's like I'm gonna spoil it. Nathan, I told Josiah this, and viewers at home. I believe this is what happens in the Sand miniseries.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Well, the same similar scene happens, but in the middle of the day, because shooting at night is hard. And instead of, like, methodically, like, breaking her collarbones...
Killing her in, like, 3 different ways.
Yeah, and yeeting her out the window before trying to pull her back, he just, like, turns and, like, smacks her.
Oh.
And she gets, like, sent across the room, and he's like, oh.
Yeah, it's like he doesn't realize his strength.
Yeah.
Because he's so powerful.
Yeah.
So when he reacts in anger, he swings, and then he, like, hits her, and then she flies across the room, and he looks over, and he's like, oh, shit, I broke her back, or whatever.
Yeah.
And, like, that makes so much more sense than, like...
so much better.
like, that actually, like, at least I could go with that in terms of, like, well, he didn't really mean to do it. Like, it just kind of spurted out.
Whereas when I read, like, 2 pages of him, like, carefully, like, lifting his arms up, smacking her collarbones, picking... It's
a comedy sketch.
Yeah, it's like, funny. I'm not scared of him.
It's like the whole fucking book is, no, like, Nadine is the key to all this. Like, I literally don't have a plan beyond getting her pregnant and having, like, building up Las Vegas. And then Nadine's whole purpose in the story is to get pregnant and then just die, like, 2 scenes later. And, like, the whole book is like, oh, Fran's gonna have a baby. Oh, Nadine's gonna have a baby. Is there any kind of, like, parallels or themes that are gonna come from that? No, Nadine just dies because the bad guys have to lose now. And Nadine gets her revenge on Flag for raping her. She outwitted him. No, she didn't.
It would have been, like, so much better if, like, Nadine got, like, fucked by Flag, like, way earlier, and that's what really got her.
Yeah.
And then, like, she has the kid, and so when he kills her, it's like, oh, like, he see the fetus and go, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Like, what have I done?
Yeah.
Like, it's so bad.
Yeah.
Nadine is, like, a garbage character, and, like, her death was the moment where I laughed and said, this is not getting any better.
Speaking of garbage, Trashy realized he kind of fucked up when he nuked the entirety of their Air Force and weapons and, you know, everything.
And put, like, thermal detonators on every single fucking vehicle
very,
he finds.
very methodically so that they're hard to find but very easy to set off. And
He did this in, like, a fit of rage, by the way.
And
this is how I express anger, too. I actually relate to this character.
It's premeditated act of passion.
I guess.
So he does that, and they're like, oh, they made fun of me. I thought I was in a better place, but I'm not. Oh, wait. Shit. All right.
It was just teasing because they liked me. Oh, it's too late now.
But no, I planted the charges. I have to just watch now and get off on it.
Maybe if I go get something for Flag, I will be redeemed. Okay.
And then that chapter's over.
Oh,
Oh, this is when we have Whitney. I think he's the chef guy.
Yes, it's the chef.
Yeah, he talks with Floyd and he's like, "Hey, listen, shit sucks. We're thinking of leaving."
And Lloyd's like drinking, by the way.
Yeah.
Which is a big, like, you don't drink to get drunk.
Like, Whitney is the one, like, who wants to leave, but Lloyd is the one who's, like, very vocally going, yeah, this shit's terrible. Flag's fucking incompetent. And Whitney's like, hey, do you want to leave? You want to we're just thinking of fucking off to South America. And he's like, no, he made me smart, I gotta say.
Yeah. But it's funny because they make it out. They win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Good for them.
Is it Whitney that... I thought Whitney doesn't get away.
Is Whitney the one who stands up to Flag?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. So he dies.
Wow, so Whitney's the only one that should make a stand.
He is, yeah.
Did you know that the stand's all about Whitney the cook?
You know, at least that's something.
At least someone stood.
Lloyd drinks himself to sleep. Next chapter,
Good for him.
Trash Can Man finds a nuke, and they have to tell you about all the ways he gets it out of the base. And
very methodically.
Very methodically.
He's like, this is really heavy. He's like carrying it around, and then after he gets it off the base, he's like, oh shit, should I have had like a suit or something? Because it's, you know, a nuclear bomb. I'll figure it out, and drives it out of there.
And that scene's done.
And that scene's over.
And then Randall Flag's in the desert, and he's meditating, and he sends out his third eye to find the people who are coming to make a stand.
And then he does.
And the dog senses it.
And it's like, oh, I looked up, it looked like the dog saw something, but there couldn't have been anything there. Okay.
And that scene's done.
And that scene's over. and then we start getting more with the people who are actually going to make the stand.
And now we're cutting to Glenn, Ralph, Larry, Stu, and Kojak.
And they do this horrible bit where they're all trying to, they're like, yeah, that sucks, that we have to walk. It's very, very unfortunate God demanded we take nothing and walk. That's really shitty of him, but okay. And then there's this bit where, oh no, yes.
So they criticize God, and then the next day they can't find food. Because God says, fuck you.
That's right.
So this whole thing is that they have to leave to go make a stand.
Yeah, very at a very specific time.
They have to walk, only what they have on their backs.
They can't take any more clothes. That's a dick move right there.
And they have to go. They have to walk.
That's what God does.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's why prophets went into the desert, because they had to show that they believed in God by suffering.
And what's so funny that they didn't say, bring Kojak with you.
No.
But then Kojak comes, but then Kojak's so important to Stu's survival.
Yeah.
That it's like, well, did God intend that?
He just knew Kojak would come along.
That's good.
That's why he helped him win against those wolves that Flag sent.
Forgot about that.
Lend him strength.
And we get this bit where I actually quite like this section because it's just the characters actually like
They're all talking
and surviving, and then they go up this like there's this split street like the concrete, and so there's all this gravel and concrete. And they try to climb up, and then Stu falls and like just fucking breaks.
You forgot the bit where they encounter the kid's body.
Oh yeah, that's right. They find the body.
They find the body of Harold, and they're like, well, guess he's dead. And that scene's over.
That scene's over.
And they find the body of the kid who they call the Wolfman.
Wolfman.
Yeah. Because wolves ate him.
And I wonder, I want to find out, was that Wolfman section in the original book, and then in the extended, you're like, oh, it's a character now.
I don't think it is.
I mean, it could have been.
It could have been. If so,
I feel like if it was probably also even smaller because they go really far into like how long did the wolves wait? It's really weird.
Yeah,
it didn't look like they broke in.
They spend so much time going like, no, that's what happened to the kid.
And they have the little like they're counting their steps thing, and they're making notes every day about how far they walk, and every morning they do the same ritual, getting 2 cups of coffee. I guess they just always find every day. Yep. They always find enough for 2 cups of coffee every day. That's the ritual.
No, they're able to carry that much, but it's not in any bags or anything. They just have pocket coffee.
Yeah, like what's God's stipulation? Is it like, are you allowed this casting in your pockets? Like,
you can only pick up things you get along the way. You can't take anything with you from the outset.
What if I find a backpack?
No. Then maybe you don't, because he said so.
Because they have to walk. So you could argue that's from the outset, but they pass so many cars.
And then we get the ultimate just like Stephen King shitty writing thing of Stu's like, and I actually like the scene of him telling Glenn that he has to lead now, and Glenn has his character arc where he's like, no,
Larry has to lead.
Oh, sorry, Larry, not Glenn.
I was gonna say Glenn.
It's no. So he has this arc with Larry where Larry's like crying, and I quite really like this scene.
And it's really good. And I think Glenn or Ralph is like, Larry, you wanna stay with him because you don't want to keep going because you're scared.
And it's so good. And but there's this thing where he ruins it because immediately he's like, and they never saw Stu Redman again. And I'm like, that you need to die.
I fucking hate when he does that shit.
I hate it so much.
It's so bad. It's really bad. No, hey, objectively, it's bad. And I'll tell you why. You are ruining your own story. Because now you know that no matter what, either Stu's gonna die, Larry, Ralph, and Glenn are gonna die.
No, but how's it gonna happen?
I don't care. I know it's gonna happen now.
Yeah, but how?
I don't care.
You love these characters? They could die at any time now.
Yeah.
Now we know for a fact.
I knew that from the offset because of the whole plague thing.
Actually, I know that they won't because it's called The Stand. So until they make The Stand, I know they can't die.
But so many people stand in this novel.
I did more standing.
Oh my god, wait a minute. He has a fucking point. A lot of people do stand.
They do stand up.
You know who doesn't stand?
It's like when Stephen Moffat made the joke of...
Kojak.
Stephen Moffat made the joke of, well, the fall of the 11th could just mean he trips and falls. And I'm like, I want to blind you. Okay. But anyway, they leave Stu. Because... And Kojak disappears. And then he comes back.
No one like bothers to like try to get Kojak back. Well, they just forget he's there, and then he's I guess Kojak's not here, and
then he gets a rabbit for Stu.
That's nice. And now when you're like, oh, I guess Stu's gonna live now. But then it's also you ask yourselves, well, then why did Stu go in the first place?
It's exactly. Well, that's the thing.
Because
his whole purpose is to come back and have a happy ending with Fran and raise a kid.
But then why did he go in the first place?
No, it's just to test their resolve.
I was gonna say it's God's version of Randall Flagg's thing, where he's like, "I tested your faith once, now I have to do it again."
Yes,
and you could argue and say, "Well, then if Stu didn't witness it, then the people back there wouldn't know that it was a nuke."
Oh yeah, he did. See it,
but
Tom could have seen it.
Tom could have seen it, or even when they get back, everyone's like, "Hey, there was a big explosion over there. Was it a nuke?" Like they immediately say that, and then Stu's like, "Yes, it was."
But now they know.
And then that scene's over.
Also, here's the thing about nukes. If you can see it, you're fucked. You're fucked.
It's if the cloud is bigger than your thumb is how it works. If you hold up your thumb and it's bigger than your thumb, then you are within radiological areas. That doesn't mean you'll for sure die, but it'll fuck you up.
That's why the Fallout Pip-Boy is always...
he always puts the thumb out.
See, I have to see, though, because I feel like... Let me look how far away Colorado is from Nevada. Because I'm pretty goddamn
the wind carried it south because God did that.
Because
God kept all the radiation in Las Vegas.
Because Stephen King hates California.
He does. Very clearly he does.
Stephen King blew up the other Portland because he hates
it's a den of sin.
So did Stu fall in Colorado? Where did Stu fall?
He fell like it. So based on what I was getting, they were like
they mentioned it's the town he's near. It's like Green Spring something.
Yeah, they mention it doesn't say in this summary because the guy stopped caring. But
Good for him.
They do this. They calculate how long they are, and they're like, yeah, we're like 3/4 of the way there, but it's like hundreds of miles. Based on the fact
Is
that...
there a website where I can look up if a nuclear blast hit here?
Yes, no, you can.
Am I safe here?
I'm looking.
Okay, Nathan's doing the good.
He
Lord's
does
work
that.
over here.
So they had this cool scene. I kind of liked it where they go up to Flag's guys and Glenn and the others just don't give a shit about these guys.
Such big dick energy.
Yeah. And I thought that this was like, oh, this is going to be like a satisfying climax.
Because we forgot to mention, so after Nadine dies for reasons, because I guess, then we start talking, because in the scene with Lloyd, we're like, oh, we're going to defect. Now we find out all of a sudden that, oh, actually, everyone has their doubts in Vegas. Yeah. And it's like, wait a minute, they all suddenly have their doubts? And now I'm like, oh, is the book going to end with like Larry making like a really good point and everyone going like, yeah, fuck Flag, and they all like try to like gang him up.
I would love that. I would love that.
And then everyone in Vegas takes a stand and it's like, oh, like, even though like they work for the devil, like there's good in all of us.
Yeah.
And God loves redemption.
Making a stand as a member of Boulder doesn't mean as much as making a stand being in the devil's camp. Because you're like, I'm just doing the right thing. Like, if it had been Randall Flagg wipes out the population of Vegas or something because he loses control, that would be like, well, they stood for what they believed in. That's actually like a nice ending.
TV show writers, take notice.
So if you're within 54 miles of a nuclear blast, you will have temporary blindness if it's at night. So there's that.
If it's at night,
if it's at night, it'll straight up blind you if you see it from 13 miles away.
Well, he was farther than 50 miles.
Oh, yeah.
He was probably like 100 miles away. Because he doesn't even really see the mushroom cloud. He just feels the heat and sees, like, the fumes. So
yeah, which I think is, based on what I'm reading, is bullshit. You wouldn't.
It's almost like Stephen King didn't research it.
If you can't, well, no, because he does see that it's a mushroom. But if you're feeling heat, you're getting the radiation.
Not necessarily.
I don't know about
that heat is radiation.
Heat is radiation.
But God said Stu should live. So it's fine.
No, God said that at least it's not going to settle in for another 2 years.
Oh, good.
I want the stand too, where Stu has like radiation like sickness.
The stand 2, Stu's third testicle.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So like
anyway,
the thing is that like I hate that like all of a sudden now everyone in Vegas is questioning Flag, and I'm like, okay, is that gonna manifest? Nope.
Well,
just so you know, they're not all evil, but fuck them anyway.
Yeah, fuck them anyway. They didn't do anything overtly wrong. They just were for a while planning to fight us, but they didn't actually do it.
But only because of fear, because of what propaganda told them to do.
It's not their fault.
But fuck them, I guess.
Fuck them. Like, they didn't immediately choose.
What a shitty message.
That's what I'm saying, is it's like...
Like, when Fred and Stu ask at the end, did people ever change? Yes.
Yes, they do.
They were going to, then he nuked them.
Yes, they were going to change.
And then he nuked them.
Yes.
Harold changed. He wasn't always going to be like this person, but then he was strict. So then he changed and became that person. Or he could have become Hawk and been like a member of society and done his part and like become probably like the leader of him one day. For like a term, but no.
But the ending's all depressing because it's like, oh, eventually we're gonna build up our technology again and then kill each other.
It's already started.
It's already started.
Armed police officers.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, because if someone like goes to the next town over, finds the fucking gun store, comes back and tries to kill people.
I love that. I mean, we'll get there, but we have because the arming the police officers is over this officer getting thrown through a window and being in horrific surgery for weeks on end. And there's like a little comment where it's like, Stu didn't say it, but he was one of those who felt like if that cop had a gun, it would be a dead drunk instead of an injured cop. I'm like, that's probably better, honestly. I mean,
if he's throwing cops through fucking windows.
Yeah.
So I can't really like...
I'm not saying the Flag had a point, but...
I'm not saying they had a point, but rather than do something interesting with that, they decide, let's have a scene of Glenn just emasculating Flag in front of Lloyd.
Which is pretty hilarious.
It's hilarious because at this point I'm not afraid of Flag.
Oh yeah, that's the thing.
And the moment when Lloyd shoots Glenn, I was like, oh, you know what? Based on what was happening, you had me believe that Lloyd would just disobey him. So props to you for actually doing that.
Yeah, I thought Lloyd was going to turn on Flag, honestly.
The fact that they did that, I was like...
make a stand.
No.
Wouldn't it have been made so much more sense if instead of some random cook, Lloyd stood up to Flag?
Do you feel because
Come on.
they're all gonna die anyway?
Come on,
Fuck
you
it.
couldn't have just had Lloyd stand up to Flag, like his
Also,
right hand man.
Out of nowhere, we introduced a new member of the fucking Vegas crew, which is this fucking like pirate guy.
I was fucking baffled. Like that this character got so much like description of his like outfit, and then it's like, and he just dies.
It would have been awesome if like he was the guy on the TV show who was shooting people.
I thought that's what they were saying he was, but it's no.
In the show, he'll be the same person.
Okay.
Also, I was just thinking the reason
and he'll be Locknot from the Mummy too.
the reason Lloyd may not have gotten his redemption at the end is it could be a self-loathing streak in Stephen King, because he does get drunk and drink shortly before.
But there's a lot of self-insert characters in Stephen King in this.
Yeah, but there can
more so than normal because there's so many characters.
But there can never be too many self-insert.
Okay. So we end the story. Well, actually, not really. We got like 100 more pages.
Like, wow, end the story. There's like there's a fucking trek back to goddamn Boulder limping with fucking Tom.
People who talk about the walking in Lord of the Rings need to shut the fuck up, because this is like way more.
I'm not saying Robert Jordan should have wrote The Stand, but
maybe teleporting back would have been good.
God, I'm listening.
You know, if God had just teleported Stu and Kojak back and Tom, sure, I would have accepted it. Whatever.
It kind of sucks that God just gifted the superpowers to the dying old black woman, and there's no one who can help our protagonist. Whereas the devil chooses this like weird young.
What, you're saying you hate the magical Negro trope?
I mean, I don't hate it. I'm saying it's.
I do.
I mean, again, it's been done good.
I mean,
would I want you to do it? No.
Larry's
black.
Can he have some powers? Please?
Larry's white.
Do you?
No, dude.
Not in the show.
I don't know the actor, but he's
in the show, he's white.
One thing I forgot to tell you. One thing I wanted to mention. Remember that weird... I talked to Salas. Remember that weird dream? I like it in concept, where Larry has a dream because he's going to confront Flag. And then he sees Flag in the audience, and I shit you not, he's like... And then Charles Manson and fucking Ted Bundy and Albert Fish and all these serial killers are there. And I'm like, what is that? He never had a fear of serial killers. Yeah, but they're bad people, so they're laughing at him. And it's like, oh shit.
It's being shown that like as it's being portrayed as like stage fright because he's about to perform, but also there's all this evil right on the horizon.
Because
I do love how Larry makes an analogy that whenever he comes out and sees the whole people for the Caesar's Palace, it's like as if like a band's about to play and everyone's hushing.
I loved that.
That's really good imagery.
Yeah.
Also, I told this to you, Josiah.
Yeah.
So if Nadine's whole purpose in life was that the devil guided her to have a baby with his like Antichrist demigod guy.
Yes.
Larry's whole purpose in life was to become a singer and develop the vocal cords good enough to project across the entirety of Caesar's Palace to give his message.
That is such a good Chekhov's gun. No, he's a singer. How's that going to play? He can project really well. Okay.
Not that it matters because they all die.
Yeah, it's so funny to me how, in concept, the whole thing of The Stand is literally just trying to convince people of what the good thing to do is. Like, that's, thematically, that's pretty rich. You could do a lot, but then...
But he doesn't.
He doesn't, and then we get this bit where the cook stands up to Flag, and Flag shoots a fucking fireball, and it, like, goes over his hair, like, around, like, a mohawk through his head, and then just burns his face.
I guess.
And the fireball just is floating there, and Flag's like, no, you're all gonna listen to me, and then Larry, and they're just like, oh, well, it looks like the crowd's kind of turning back to Flag, and then... Trash Can Man comes hurtling out of the desert.
And he looks like a fucking ghoul from Fallout.
He's a fucking ghoul. He's irradiated. Like, he's basically bleeding out of every orifice. He has no teeth. Like, he has, like, no hair. He's fucked. And he's just screaming, my life for you. And then you have this bit where Lloyd and Flag go, oh, no. And you have a bit where Flag's like, I'm not gonna kill you. I'm not upset. Please just go the other way.
It's so funny.
And
Lloyd's like, hey, Trash, hey, man, like, hey, what are you doing, buddy?
They're like, hey, listen, we love you. Like, we're so glad you're back. Can you please just, like, leave us alone for a little bit while we...
And he's just like, no, I haven't redeemed myself
It's
yet.
a fucking comedy act. Like, this is so funny to me. Like, oh, and then your guy who's an idiot has a nuke with him. Please don't set that off. And then you're immediately like, okay, so it's already leaking radiation, so you could just say that everyone in Las Vegas dies from the radiation.
Yes.
No, then the fireball... Larry or whoever looks up, and then the fireball that is just floating there, Flag didn't dissipate it, because I guess he was going to use it again, becomes a hand.
Even though Flag has limited powers. So
yes.
Why would he keep it there?
So the flag turns into a hand, like the hand of fucking God, and then touches the switch. It's a flaming hand, just touches the switch to set off the nuke. And Flag's like, no!
Oh, is that what I thought it was literally just, it's a flame that hit the nuclear bomb. And...
Well, no, like the way they describe it is the hand moves towards the switch. So it's literally a flaming hand that goes, oops.
Nathan, I read it the same way as you did. I prefer that version.
And
do you prefer it or is it better?
Thanks for that.
And Flag goes, no! And then he turns into a demon. And then he disapparates and his clothes just fall down. And it's like, so the nuke didn't even hit Flag? Nope. He just teleports away.
The nuke did kill the one person who was morally reprehensible and irredeemable.
It killed everybody who was turning to the good side. Okay. I am baffled.
Also, it was really bizarre that, like, Larry's there proselytizing how Flag's bad and stupid.
Yeah.
And then, like, Flag, is trying to, like, execute them publicly and then mentions that they're the ones who destroyed the naval base. Or the
he lies.
Base.
Yeah.
And then someone in the crowd says, like, trash can man, and Larry reads his lips.
Yeah.
And
Ash can man.
Then that never comes back.
No, that is meaningless. It's literally just a plant in the audience's head that Trash Can Man has to show up before the last 100 pages. And then he does, like, 2 pages later.
Yeah.
Well, I saw that as there's, like, a group, like, the rumor has spread that it was Trash Can Man. So they're just like,
I thought Larry was going to, like, pick up on it and say something about it.
No, he's lying. It wasn't us, but he doesn't say that. And so, my initial reading the plot summary is that the nuke hits him, and that's why he quote-unquote dies and has to restart elsewhere. Because I assumed he's a constant of the universe, and so he just moves on. But no, he teleports away, so none of this even affects Flag, aside from the very ending where he loses his memory again.
Yeah.
For no discernible reason. And like, it's just baffling. Absolutely baffling, this. It's really bad.
And then we get, like, fucking God, why is the, so ask me this. Answer me this, please.
Okay.
So we have the
I get both for you if you want.
Thank you. We have the Chosen Four that have to go all the way from he disregarded you completely.
I gotcha.
So we have the Chosen Four. They leave the boulder to go to Randall Flagg's place.
For no reason, guy.
For no reason. And then Stu gets fucked about.
They were kneeling, so
around halfway, maybe 2/3 of the way there, and his journey back is longer than their whole journey from start to finish.
Yes,
that's shit. That's really bad.
Yeah,
you're finishing up your epic. This is not where you have.
It'd be like if in the Lord of the Rings, you had 100 pages before the Scouring of the Shire, just going, and they were walking back to the Shire, and then shit's wrong.
Oh, then they got to Rohan, but then it was snowy, so the roads were closed. So they stayed in Rohan for a month,
and they talked to Theoden. Oh wait, he's dead.
And Nick's like, oh, Stu's sick, Tom. If you don't help him in every way, he still might die. And it's like, the tension's gone, dude. Yeah, I know you're not going to kill off all 4 of them.
Yeah. It's very woof.
The moment Kojak came back to Stu, because at first I was like,
oh shit, they're going to kill Stu?
Stu's fucking dead.
Yeah.
I was like, that's impressive. I love that. That's, you know what?
Yeah. Because he's the most the most physically capable. Like, he's the strong guy. He's the guy who's the sheriff. Like, and then it's just like, no, he just kind of breaks his leg and dies of fever. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, and what's really terrible about that is that they set that up even, like, it'd be bad enough if you just go, oh, Kojak showed up and he brought him a rabbit or whatever. But they literally have a moment of Stu going, oh, is God gonna, like, send animals to provide for me or some shit? And it's like,
and then that happens.
And there's a weird bit where on the way back, Tom Cullen, so he's with Tom Cullen, he and Stu are like scared by like some wolves on the mountain. And it's like, oh, well, no one's ever really gone. Randall Flagg remains in all the fiercest part of beasts. So he's always around in like the mean creatures of nature. And it's like, this is stupid. I know he's gone. Like, there was a half second where I'm like, if you rewrote this so Flagg teleports away and we get one final confrontation between him and Stu, but he's like a normal guy now, like it took the last of his power to teleport, I'm down for that. Do a different, like a extended climax. None of that happens. Not the animals don't even attack them.
No.
It's so like
they set the wolf threat and then immediately it's gone.
Yeah, it's real bad. It's real shit.
It sounds like they're getting closer. Guys, you're not gonna have 2 of your. You're not gonna. Stephen King, I can see through you. You're not gonna feed the retard to the wolves. You're not gonna do it.
And as well written as this trek back is, like, I like the moment where he and Tom have Christmas morning together. I'm like, I just need that. You can cut the rest of it.
Pretty much.
Because the rest of it's just him, like, being delirious in the hotel, which I kind of liked. But again, this is not what I want the last 100 pages of this novel to be.
Fuck no.
Like, this should have been the last, like, this should be 10 pages.
Yeah, I want them back in Boulder talking about stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, and...
I want to see the characters in Boulder.
When he's like, oh, we're like, I recognize where we are. We must almost be there. And then it's another like 5 pages before they speak to someone. I'm like,
I love the whole thing of Tom can't pilot the car, so Stu has to find a stick, and they have to put it down the hill and go back up to get it going. I like, again, this was all well written. I like the devotion to explaining like in detail how they get back.
Me too.
It's not meant to be at this point in the novel. This is the denouement. You don't have like, oh, are the characters gonna die? I know they're not. I know they're not going to.
Well, it's another moment of the, oh, have faith, because he tried so many. This is the very last one.
Yeah.
It looks like a piece of shit. It's
I'm gonna give up after this. It starts.
I know this. Like, as soon as they did that.
The moment he said, wow, this car's probably not gonna run, it's gonna run.
It's gonna run.
It's gonna run,
Yeah.
because look, you should have had faith.
And then...
Like, I see you, bitch. I get it.
He gets back and he's in the hospital, and Fran's there, and then they're like, you know how those kids had the flu and then they died? I don't think that's going to be the case with your baby. And it's like, oh, okay. All right, cool.
Because your baby had half immunity because you're immune.
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess.
Yeah, and there was other complications with those too, so it's fine.
I love that it's, like, I love the way they explain it, because they're like, so, from what we've seen before, it's like people got sick, then they started to fight it, but then it changed so they couldn't fight it. But your baby, it got sick, started to fight it, the flu changed, but then your baby changed and it fought it more. It's like,
that's so fucking dumb.
I don't think that's how immunity works.
It's but we don't know again.
Because
we don't
why
know.
their parents died.
We don't know why people are immune though. And that's the thing. That's the mulligan I gave this book. I'm not gonna find out why people are immune. And I can just go with that.
Yeah.
But then at the end, they feel the need to, like, explain it. And it's like, you know, you could just say that God didn't want it to die. And so...
Anyway.
We get this, like, picnic.
They're at Mother Abigail's house.
Lucy's pregnant with twins.
Oh, wait, yeah, right.
And
sorry.
Fran's like, hey, Stu, you know how we've barely really been in Boulder? Well, you should go back to Maine. And it's like...
And it's like, well, why?
Why?
And Stephen King's like, because Maine's the best.
Because Maine's the best, and they're tired of setting everything up. Okay.
I miss Maine so much. It's so much prettier than here.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I really doubt that.
Okay,
yeah.
Stephen, calm down.
The zone does not leave them anymore.
And we can go to Castle Rock.
Yeah, they talk about Castle Rock. And then, yeah, we get that bit where Stu's like, you know... I'm worried that eventually mankind will destroy itself again.
Remember how when Stu goes to the hospital, or it's like right when he gets to Boulder, they're like, oh yeah, that injury, you'll probably have a limp and for the rest of your life. And then on the next bit, it's like, oh, well, if we re-break it, you won't. So we're going to do that and you'll be fine.
And then they do that, then he's fine.
Yeah.
So no consequence, really.
Like the scene, the scene starts great because it's literally Fran going, Stu, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like, let me see you walk. Are you okay? And he like limps around a bit and he looks back and he sees like she's trying not to cry because he's so fucked up.
Yeah.
And then she's immediately like, you're gonna get that taken care of. It's like, oh, I thought, all right.
There's no consequence.
There's no consequence for these characters.
And they have their kids and you know, the smallest amount of catharsis from that, the very like 1%, you know. Like,
sure.
And then we get the epilogue where okay.
No. So wait. So it cuts some months, and they've already left.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It cuts forward.
Now they're in Mother Abigail's home now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then they talk about how humans will never change, even though they do.
Even though they clearly did. All you have to do is communicate. Yep. The problem was we didn't communicate with the other side, and then the moment we did, the other side started to change, and then they just blew up. You can't do this.
No.
You can't do this. You can't.
People who say people never change suck.
It's because they never change.
Exactly.
Like anybody who says people don't change, it's because they've never changed.
Yeah. It's those people. I will say everyone has issues, but if you are someone who has issues and you use that as a defense, that's like really shitty.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're a shitty person, you can't be the person that goes, people never change. It's like, no, they can. Like if you don't change, you're a shitty person. People change.
But it's an apocalypse.
Stephen King, you recovered from alcoholism.
Yeah.
Guess what? That was a change.
That was a change. No, but it wasn't. I still have that demon sleeping in me, so I always have to be on my 12 steps. I could start drinking at any time. I feel like after this amount of time, you probably wouldn't like the taste.
Dude, if you're dry for a decade, I think you're okay.
But
yeah.
But
no one's ever really been an alcoholic.
People don't change. Stephen King, 1970. Yeah. Anyway, so we get the epilogue. Would one of you kindly kind of outline this and we can go into it?
Is this... Hold on.
This is where...
I'll get you there. I read this yesterday.
Okay,
right,
so tell us what the epilogue is.
A man wakes up in the woods, and he doesn't know where he is or who he is or what anything is. But there's a flower that looks like a schoolgirl's nipple. What's a schoolgirl? What's a nipple? Anyway.
Yeah, that's so fucking weird to me. That was one of the final lines he put. It looks like a schoolgirl's nipple. Why would you say that?
I don't even know what that's supposed to mean.
He also has this great bit where he says, no, they definitely don't speak habla no fucking Espanol. And I'm like, okay.
They don't habla no fucking anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he meets some people in the woods, and
natives.
They're natives someplace.
We don't know when or where this is.
But now he's remembering stuff, and his name is Russell Faraday.
Yep.
And he's going to take over the world.
He will teach them language and teach them the finer art of war.
I can't wait for Eye of the Dragon.
Eye of the Dragon couldn't be as bad as this.
Is he in the present, future, or past?
It does. Okay. In principle, this epilogue is great. Like, if the rest of the book had been fucking great, this would be such a great symbolic, like, evil's never really defeated.
Yeah.
We beat it in this realm, but in some time, some place, some dimension, evil will have to be... you have to stand against evil repeatedly. You can't just get one and done and get it over with. Evil will always survive. So Randall Flagg being like this incarnation of evil that always tries to destroy a world, that's cool. But I still hate how, because I know this character is retconned into the Dark Tower series, where he clearly doesn't lose his memory. And it's like, well, I guess that was the one time where he didn't get beaten. And all these other times he's just forgotten who he is and has to start again from scratch.
There was a nuke involved this time.
It didn't hit him, though. It didn't hit him.
But it got really close.
I would have preferred it just hit him, and he just wakes up here, and it's like, well, he didn't die.
He got really close.
But he got...
It's like how in Jumper...
really?
Yeah, it's like how in Jumper, explosions are able to go through the teleportation bits.
Oh, that's right.
So the radiation still blasted him a little bit.
Yeah.
Again, the epilogue is fine. I think the rest of book 3 was kind of shit.
Yes.
But, like, this epilogue makes sense to the story I was following and caring about in books 1 and 2.
Yes.
Or most of 2.
I'd agree.
So I like the epilogue.
It was written ahead of time.
So I'll give that. It's a nice way to leave off as we go further into this Dark Tower universe. God, I really hope Eye of the Dragon is good.
I really hope the Dark Tower
It's shorter. It's only 300 pages, so I won't be putting in that much of a time sink into that one, but I look forward to seeing like what you could actually do with this character.
I'm very curious to see, because here's the thing. This upcoming Stand miniseries.
Yeah.
There's going to be very many shades of things. And I think what it is we're going to get a blend of things that they adapt pretty well from the book, and it turns out pretty well. Then they have things that are... So there's going to be bits that are a direct adaptation of the book, and those are going to be good. And then there will be things that are a direct adaptation of the book and be bad. Then there's going to be things they change that are good, but there's also going to be things they change that are bad.
Oh, yeah.
So it's going to be a full...
I feel like what it's going to be is they'll adapt something that I thought was the stupidest shit, and then something else they're like, we just kind of cut out this section. And I'm like, that's one of the best parts of the book. And they're like, yeah, but it wasn't really jiving with us.
What if we...
Like, we adapt every bit of Mother Abigail's backstory, but we cut all of Randall Flagg's musing about his past. That's what they would do, and it would be like, fuck me, I guess.
Yeah.
But that was the Stand Book 3. What a disappointment.
I'd say, if I were to compare this to Lord of the Rings, I'd say it's about as good as the Hobbit film trilogy.
Yeah, ooh, I'd say so.
That was rough.
It's true though. That makes sense. That tracks. Maybe the guys doing the miniseries could make something good out. I want to actually watch the original miniseries because I feel like
we will.
They improved a few things at least.
Surely.
But yeah, the Stand Book 1. What a shitty way to begin the Stephen King franchise, considering people say this is one of his best novels.
I mean, maybe it is, but it's not a good novel.
I don't understand why people
stand.
I don't understand why people stand with Stephen King when he kind of fucking sucks at writing.
It's his prose, dude. Like,
Yeah,
people get really into his prose, and
sometimes his prose are good, I'll admit. Not all the time.
Well, no.
Stop using Helter Skelter.
Twice in the same fucking page.
Well, it'd be great if they use that twice.
And then never again in the rest of the
They should have used
book.
it twice in the epilogue.
I would have actually liked that.
I would have loved that, because it'd be like, well, it went full circle.
If Randall Flagg had looked at like this cluster of plants and it was like they were strewn about all Helter Skelter. What's a Helter Skelter? Perfect.
That would have been great.
That would have been good.
Because it's like the Charles Manson thing.
I can't believe
and then not a schoolgirl's nipple.
I can't believe I can one up Stephen King at his own Stephen
That
King.
is
You can't believe?
Yeah.
No. I'm saying like no. I know that I could. Well, I'm not going to say that because I haven't published any books. But I know for a fact that I could tell a story better than Stephen King. But it's funny to think that I can use Stephen King prose better than Stephen King can use his prose.
I feel like it's because he had a bunch of good movie deals.
I feel like it's because he
Maybe
was
people.
on coke and alcohol for a while and zapped his brains out. But
They were zapped. You're gonna love the Dark Tower books when the first book and the first page they use the word parsec.
Oh, shit.
as a unit of time or distance?
They don't really say.
All right.
Remember how in Wheel of Time they're always putting their hands under their breasts?
Right.
In the Dark Tower, when he always feels tension in his balls.
Oh, shit.
Remember that?
God, yeah, that's right. I can feel it in my balls.
Oh God, Stephen King.
Once in every book.
Well, I think it's...
just once? All right, that's not so bad.
Well, maybe not. We'll find out. On the next episode of the Escape Pod.
Thanks for watching.
You fat, useless sack of fucking Yankee danky doodle shite. Fuck off, will you please, yeah?